So, Kings have been linked to a point guard. It's not Fred VanVleet because he's not leaving Houston.
No, smart man.
It's not Kyrie Irving because he's not leaving Dallas. In fact, Kyrie did exactly what we predicted would happen immediately following the injury. We'll get to all of that stuff. All that stuff is really important. The point guard in question is 31-year-old Dennis Schroder. I didn't have to go to Twitter to see people's reaction. I felt like I would know it. I also know no reaction on Twitter is ever good, so why bother? So I just put it in the notes, waited to see what the response would be. Jesse already had it. Jesse wrote, "This is about as underwhelming as it gets." And I think my brother's probably echoing the sentiment of a lot of Kings fans. And based on radio term tease before the commercial break, we think you might be overreacting. Am I correct on that?
I do.
I like Dennis Schroder. Yeah, I've always liked Dennis Schroder. I think Dennis Schroder is a good ball player. 31 years old. He started 49 of 75 games last year for 3 different teams. He's always been a solid producer. I don't know what you want. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. Seriously, I don't know what you guys want.
Yeah.
Trae Young's name came up. Many of you hated it. Turns out Scott Perry hated it too. LaMelo Ball's name came up. Many of you hated it. Lonzo Ball's name came up. You hated it. What do y'all want? Dennis Schroder is a free agent. He'll be, I'm certain, quite affordable. I don't expect Scott Perry to sign Dennis Schroder should this report that the Kings, being the front runner or extremely interested or whatever, just goes, ha, 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 did it, and goes and sits down in his recliner. I don't think that's the case. A pickup of Dennis Schroder by the Sacramento Kings, I think, would be more than a really solid pickup.
Technically, remember the list that I had the other day of like who people said no to,
Hate it. Who's left,
who's unavailable.
Yeah.
Technically, even though this isn't where he ended, this is Brooklyn point guard.
Well, there it is.
That was available.
Did he end in Brooklyn?
No, he started in
end?
Brooklyn.
Oh,
he
Brooklyn,
ended in Detroit, and he played well.
Golden
in Detroit.
State in Detroit, yeah,
and he played well in Detroit. I'm like you in this situation. Number one, I don't think that's how they're looking at it. This solves all our problems. This is what we're doing here. I don't think that's what they look at Dennis Schroder as. But even having him on the roster, like, I think he's a good ball player. He's a little hit or miss. Like I said, last year alone, you've got 3 different versions of Dennis Schroder.
Yeah.
He was good with Brooklyn. He wasn't very good with the Warriors. He was good with Detroit.
But how much of that is Dennis and how much of that is Golden State? Like, how many players have we seen go through the Warriors basketball program and, oh man, I thought he might be a little bit better than that.
Yeah, it happens.
And then they get out of there and they're a little bit better.
It's happened often.
And it's tough. And we're going to get back to the Golden State Warriors too, because there's a lot of talk about Oklahoma City, and the Golden State may have laid the foundation, may have laid out the blueprint for what doesn't work for teams, including Oklahoma City. We'll explain. Point being, I think Golden State, with the likes of Steph, Draymond, Steve Kerr, I think that's a difficult organization for tough term journeymen to go through. Because again, you've got 3 teams, 2 of which he played really well on. One of them was a playoff team, a very good playoff team.
Yeah, I like Dennis Schroder. I said in a tweet last night, I like him a lot more if he's a backup point guard. Like, I don't want him to be the starting point guard for this team. But I think he's a good ball player. Like you mentioned, for the most part in his career, he's been good. Like, he's been good. There's been times when he might have been disappointing to some, or, you know, I don't know what the expectations necessarily were, but he's been a good NBA ball player, NBA point guard for number of different years now. And I kind of think people are going overboard with the reaction to
So did you go to Twitter? Because I didn't.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
It was bad.
Oh yeah, nobody liked it.
Okay.
Nobody liked it. Like I said, I think it's.
I don't
think
get.
okay.
I don't get how the Kings could turn their nose up at Trae Young and be like, all right, yeah, like I think the rumor was they're gonna hold out, see what better options are out there. It's like, all right, Dennis Schroeder's our starting point guard this year.
Well, the way you would do that, I'm sorry. The way you would do that is you're not committing $50 million a year to Dennis Schroeder.
It's not. I don't think.
So this is a gap year then, because what is let's be real here. Dennis Schroeder's not like what Dennis Schroeder's
just it's not a gap year, but it's not a negative 4 year either. Like if you're a general manager and you don't like Trae Young, like that's just the reality of it. And if you stick yourself with that this year plus 4, a 5-year commitment, or however you feel about contracts in the NBA, but a 5-year commitment to Trae Young at that dollar figure, yeah, it doesn't mean it's a gap year. It just means you're not committing your finances to that.
That's the way I look at it. And I'm with you, Jesse. I like, we talked about this. I'm bring Trae Young here. I'm signing him to the extension and all that stuff.
Trae Young is a ring. Like you're marrying Trae Young.
Yeah, but like, and that's the thing.
Don't marry a girl you like. You got to marry a girl you love. And it's clear the people in charge do not love or even like Trae Young.
You can just date Dennis Schroeder.
We don't.
Right.
I guess we don't
Love
know,
Island.
We don't know entirely the direction the Kings are trying to go, but like I feel like we heard retool and win. Like to me, like Dennis Schroeder is not a step in that direction.
Oh, I disagree.
Like, I don't think you're any better. I think you're a playing team, if that, right now.
Yeah, you weren't even a playing team last year.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like you're not even taking a step forward. I think. With
Dennis.
I
guess you were a playing team last year. You just lost.
The other thing about that too, though, is, and this is where we got to take some time, is that may just be one move. If you, I'm just throwing out a scenario, but if you signed Dennis Schroeder as a free agent, but you were able to make a deal with Miami to get the 20 Wiggins and somebody else, now, all right, you're cooking a little bit. You got a starting small forward to go along with Zach LaVine. Maybe the rookie is the one that starts at point guard or something like that. So Schroeder is one move, and we don't even know where that move could potentially be on the hierarchy of things they're trying to do.
Well, let's say you had Wiggins and you had Schroeder or whatever, the point guard in the 20th pick. Like, are you still building around Domas and LaVine then?
I don't think you're building around.
That's what I'm saying. This is essentially like what are you doing this year then?
I don't know, Jesse.
What's the gap year then?
Well, it doesn't mean it's a gap year. It just means it's direction this year.
So yeah, it's a gap year. That's a gap year. I'm sorry, it's a gap year.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I don't care that I don't know what they're doing. I just hope they do. And like, I don't think that they're building around Domas and Zach LaVine, but I do think they're building this particular team around Domas and Zach LaVine. I don't think that's the long-term plan or solution or anything, but I think they are trying to find the players who can complement those two and lead this organization to something positive.
The other thing about this regime and what they may do this offseason is, even as impatient as I've said I am, like I want them to make moves and all this other stuff, I don't want them to make a move just to say they're making a move. Like, I don't want you to, like, we're being aggressive and you go out and get Tobias Harris. Like, nah, don't do that. If you don't, once again, like if you don't believe in Trae Young, then you get your books right and get ready for that person that you do.
Well, and that's it. It's okay if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's perfectly okay. I don't know this, certainly. I feel like there's probably a lot of teams that don't buy Trae Young. Whether that's fair or not, like I think that's true. I just asked Kings fans this as it pertains to Dennis Schroeder, and we did this a few weeks ago. I asked Scott Perry the same thing. If not Trae Young, ooh, 5-time All-Star don't work? Okay. 27 point per game score doesn't work? League leader in assists does not work. All right. You tell me what works. I'd be curious to know what works for this franchise. In your vision of basketball, What works? I thought Trey worked. And particularly, I guess there's a caveat to that. I thought Trey with Domas worked. I thought you could absolutely do something with that. But the guy in charge of this basketball team says you're wrong. He can't. Okay. So who does?
Yeah.
And I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
I do wonder